You know who else has been paying his dues?
It's GG Jackson.
It is GG Jackson.
Yeah. He is making his way back in the fold after sitting out the beginning of the season with a foot injury. The second-year forward played his first game with the Memphis Hustle in the G League last night. Not a bad showing, 18 points and 5 rebounds, but even GG himself admits he's got a little ways to go before he's back in the swing of things.
Definitely still out of shape, but comes with not playing for a little minute, I guess, but no excuses. But I'm going to try to do everything in my power, control what I can control to, get myself back to game-ready shape, though. It's amazing how basketball can bring so many people around. And, it was laughs and, chit-chatter back out there on the court. So it just felt good to take it all back in and definitely get up and down the floor. But like I said earlier, just hella room for improvement on my end.
GG was a little hard on himself for this one. I was actually in the Landers Center last night, got a chance to watch some of this game, and you could tell he really wanted to come in there and dominate, and he almost had to kind of like slow his own roll, and I think the coach out there for the Hustle as well kind of had to slow his roll just a little bit. Glad to see him back on the floor. I think it's been a long road. We haven't talked to him really since the summertime. But for him to get back on the floor, I think really bodes well for the Grizzlies. They really need that kind of 1 or 2 extra rotation pieces. They're playing really deep with some guys who you probably won't see as much in a playoff series per se. But for him to get back on the floor, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch because he's electric, and for him to be it was a really competitive game. They lost in overtime, unfortunately, but he's jaw-jacking. And you can see him talking about it a little bit in that soundbite, but he's jaw-jacking up and down the floor. I think the competitive juices were something that he had really missed over the last however many months he's been out. It was really cool to kind of be in the Landers Center and watch him do his thing one more time.
I'm not surprised that he had to take himself back a bit, because from what I heard from him, that's his first ever injury that he's really ever had, and first time he's ever had to sit out an extended period of games. That's hard to deal with for anyone, let alone someone who's just started his rookie year and gone out and shown everyone exactly who he is and put a lot of people on notice, to then have that high apex and then just the come down of oh man, I don't get to go out there and do that this week, or next week, or the week after, or next month. It's a long time to be sitting out for someone like that. And so I understand why he was just so eager to get out there and have fun with it. And now it's okay. Got to just settle back in and figure it out and push through all the growing pains of coming back from an injury and making sure you don't re-injure it and being able to get back on the floor with the Grizzlies. Because, that's the whole plan, right? Get him back, bring more depth into the Grizzlies, put him into that fast offense rotation and see what he can do with it.
Yeah, I think it's a big maturing phase for him to go through this. Y'all pretty much have said that. There's not much else I need to say on it, but it's something that he'll look back on in his career. Hopefully 5 years from now, where he's all NBA level player, right? He's shown the potential and said that this was really tough, and this moment where I was coming back playing against guys who I think I'm better than in the G League, and not being able to drop 35 easily. I saw a lot of spot-up threes where he hustled back, all right, just give it to me, I'm pulling it. I'm testing to see how this three looks. But yeah, the Grizzlies run the most miles per game in the NBA, and so Gigi's going to have to run a lot, and he needs to be in shape, and that'll come. These guys have been in shape since they were 12 years old, and it's just going to take him getting back on his feet. It'll be interesting because we've never seen him, this Gigi, play with Ja, Jaren, and Dez.
He's never played a minute with Ja.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
It'll be really interesting to see. Ja, has talked about Gigi in the past, really respects his game. Make no mistake, Gigi fits right into this Grizzlies offense. He's the perfect player. What that looks like, does Santi get less minutes? I don't know. I think it's more of Jake LaRavia will get less minutes, and we'll see what that rotation looks like, but definitely excited to see him back on the court.
I would love to see a Ja, Santi, Ja, Santi, GG lineup. I want to see what those three look like alongside whoever else they decide to put out there. To your point about the conditioning, he looked gassed. He looked like somebody who hadn't played basketball in however many months, 6 months or so. We were talking to the coaching staff. They're like, yeah, he looked like somebody who hadn't played basketball in 6 months or so. And it's kind of interesting for them because obviously their job is to win games. They're like any other basketball team, but they are also in a developmental spot. So you got to get Gigi his touches while at the same time trying to win in the context of winning the bigger basketball game. I thought it was kind of interesting We got to see how soon he gets back. I think he might play maybe one more G League game on Friday. What did y'all think about him going to the G League, though? I think when you look at some of that, we'll call it what it is, a little social media chatter, social media buzz. People are like, why is GG playing G League games? Why don't we just throw him back in the rotation? I was like, do y'all understand
You have to.
kind of where he's been at the last 6 months? I mean, especially with the offense that they run so much that he has to be in better conditional shape.
He's
That's my 2
also
cents.
not a veteran yet. Like, you can't. I just don't like.
That's fair.
I mean, he wasn't even meant to get as many minutes as what he got last year. That all happened because of all the injuries. Like, realistically, everyone expected him to be playing the majority of his game last season with the hustle. It's no knock on having to do that. That's part of building back up to where you need to be. I mean, obviously, Jar's coming back. We're not really seeing that, right? He's fine to go straight back into the NBA, but Gigi's not a veteran yet. He's got to get to that point, and I think it makes perfect sense. I didn't think one thing.
I didn't think twice
Yeah,
about
I
it.
did
When
not
they were
think
like,
one
he's gonna
thing
get some G
about
League
it.
run.
Yeah. I expect it to be normal.
Yeah, I mean, you see it in a lot of sports. I'm sure NFL teams wish that they had something like a minor league, like baseball has, where they can go send their star down there. You see it as y'all know, I'm a big soccer fan, right? And so a lot of
Really?
times, as I am,
I never would have
Wow.
thought you were a soccer fan. Actually.
well, I had to say this before I go into. I guess I didn't need to preface it.
You didn't need to preface it.
I didn't need to preface
Did you also
it.
play D2 lacrosse?
Don't go into this. I see. That is a prime example of her starting something. That is a prime example. Keep this clip. She starts it. I usually don't start it.
You just set it up for me, though. How
Even
am
though
I
I
not
did
meant
get
to take
you
it?
with a slight
my
Australian joke.
gosh.
A lot of times in European soccer, they'll send big stars who are recovering to the under 21 teams to go and just wreck those kids, and while they're getting back healthy, and it's a great experience for them too. And I can't think of a time where that hasn't worked out. So yeah, this is great for Gigi.
So Gigi will spend a little
Yeah, keep
longer.
talking.
Let's be
I
respectful.
will.
First of
I
all,
will.
let's back it up just a little bit. There's no disrespect to Caleb playing
Fully.
D2 lacrosse.
I'm
He's
fully-
the only person who's played college anything on this stage right now. So
I'm fully.
I will always be
There
very
will be
respectful.
there will
Hey,
be emails
if you
sent
can't-
after this show.
HR.
Emails sent.
If the
HR.
viewers can't get the sense of humor, then what are you doing watching? We're having fun up here. GG Jackson will stay with the hustle for a little bit longer. Grizz back in action against San Antonio again on Friday.